tournament appearances in 5 years. What's it mean?
It means a lot. I mean, it's a difficult tournament to get into, especially as an at-large team. And I look back to our first year 6 years ago, our first team, our first year, and how talented that team was. 5-time 25 wins. I'll never forget that experience. The feeling that we had of being left out, and how hard it is, how good a team we had, and we didn't get in. I'll always remember that, and it makes days like this, it makes you appreciate it all the more, because going 4 and 5, going to the tournament 4 out of 5 years, it's pretty special. And now we're to the point now where we're not happy just to be in the tournament. Now we're trying to advance in the tournament, make some noise. It's a very challenging thing to do out in that 8-9 game. We found that out 2 years ago in Florida when we got smacked. So we know if we're not ready to go, we'll get rolled. And we know UConn's a heck of a team. All you can ask for in life's an opportunity, but we're not just happy to be here. That's what I want the message to be to our team. We want to advance. It's not going to be easy, but in the big scheme of things, 4 tournaments in 5 years is something that they can't take away from us.
Ted, you talked after the Pitt game about not being a one-and-done team. You didn't want that reputation for this program. Is that something that you want to stress?
Yeah, and the good thing about this team and being an 8-9 game again is, we've got a lot of guys that were playing against Pitt. The guys that were freshmen and sophomores, now are juniors and seniors, and so they understand what can happen if you're not ready to play. And we can draw on that experience because it wasn't too long ago that we lived it. We don't want to be in that situation again. We want to advance, play whoever awaits us in the next game. It's easier said than done. I mean, there's 34 teams that are not going to win their first round game. We just don't want to be there.
You talked at the beginning of the year about maybe coaching with a little bit maybe more of a stern hand than last year, not letting details get overlooked. Do you feel like you did that, and do you feel like it helped this team get back to this point after last year?
Yeah, I feel like I did it. Did it early. I think, now there's times where you got to maybe bring the hammer down. But I'll tell you, one thing about this team is we've had great leadership. And so and when you have great leadership in the locker room, it makes your job a lot easier as a coach. And you got guys like Josh Scott, Xavier Toll, the seniors that we've had this year, and they understand how hard that they have to practice every day and how hard they have to play every night. And I look at the resiliency of this team. Pretty much every disappointment we've had, we bounce back from it pretty quick. And we just had a disappointment in the Pac-12 tournament against Arizona, and hopefully we can bounce back from that as well.
They do a lot of talking about the Pac-12 on the show. So you have one good thing, Oregon gets the 1 seed, and you beat Oregon. But then again, Oregon State gets a 7.
Yeah, look, the committee's got a hard job to do. Just play the games, play them. It's kind of like your conference schedule. You get 9 at home, 9 in a row. It's not always balanced. It's not always fair, but consider the tournament's not always balanced, not always fair. You just play the games and try to advance. And, I'm not going to get into the seeding. Look, we've got to play our way into one of those top seeds someday, so we're not in this 8-9 game. But that's something we can, again, learn from in future years. But right now, this is where we are. We're excited to be in it, excited to be playing UConn, and looking forward to it.
Coach, last time you were in a drivable close distance for the tournament, you guys got an incredible crowd in Albuquerque. Are you hoping that Buffs fans can make this?
That would be great. I wish it was a Friday game rather than a Thursday game, but still, hopefully some people can duck out of work and drive. And I don't even know what time the game is, but we'd love to have as many Buff fans in Des Moines like we did in Albuquerque as we can. Whether it's students, whether it's just alumni, supporters, because again, UConn is going to be further away from home than we are, so we'd love to have that contingent. I can tell you there'll be a lot of KU fans out there, being in Des Moines, but we want the Buffs to represent. Much like we've started to in Las Vegas, I was really pleased with the contingent that we had in Las Vegas. And again, it pales in comparison to Arizona, just like we really pale in comparison to KU, but you got to start somewhere. This is a great place to start.
Coach, you guys beat Oregon, one of the best. They were named a 1 seed. Does that give you the confidence that you guys can go out and beat any team in the country?
There's no question. Our players feel that way. I can tell that the way they felt after the Arizona game in Las Vegas, they were genuine disappointment, genuine anger, genuine feeling of we could have won that game, should have won that game, was paramount in that locker room. So that, to me, that's a good sign. I've got confidence in this team. I think this team has confidence that on any given night we can beat anybody. So we have to go prove it. You got to go play it. You got to go earn that respect.
I know you left a lot of reminders about the score after that Pitt game in the building and stuff like that. What do you think will be your biggest thing that you learned that will help you from that experience with this group going into?
Well, that's number one, remember what happened and remember how flat we were. And we didn't fight. We didn't scratch. We didn't compete very well that day. And we have to play well. If you have an off day, you have an off night, you're going home. The season's over with. We always talk about no tomorrows. There's no tomorrow now with this NCAA tournament. Our players know that, but hopefully we can use that Pitt experience in a positive way now rather than maybe a motivating way or a negative way, like I did that off season. Obviously, they didn't respond to it real well in the next season, but look, this is a new team, and this is a whole different team, and a very mature team, and a team that I love coaching every day, and so wonderful opportunity.
When do scouting start on these days?
It's going on right now. Bill Carton, our film guys, downloading UConn games right now. Our staff's at the office. I'll join them here in the next hour or so, and we'll be watching UConn film certainly all night tonight, all morning tomorrow, and getting ourselves ready.
Despite what happened to XJ last summer, you guys were pretty healthy all season. Only lost a couple games to injury. How big was that getting back to this juncture, especially the tough run this team had with injuries?
Big, injuries are a big part of college basketball, and to overcome them is critical. To be deep enough, but you can't be too deep where you got guys on the bench, that are going to transfer at the end of the year because they're not playing either. It's that kind of fine line of good quality depth and staying healthy throughout the season. We've done so relatively. Right now, we're healthy as a group, and our guys are feeling good about themselves, and that's important as you go into the tournament.
When XJ went down last summer, do you still think this was a legitimate goal for the team?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, XJ would have made us that much better, that much deeper. But it shows you the resiliency that this group has to lose a guy like XJ with the experience that he has, the physicality, a two-year starter coming back for his senior year, and we can still get back to this point. And you throw in some of the losses we would love to have back. It doesn't work that way, but this team is resilient, they're tough. And overcoming XJ's injury in June is a testament to that.
Do you know anything about that?
I know very little about UConn, but we'll learn more in the next 24 hours.
Speaking of XJ, now practicing, what is it giving you throughout the year being on the bench? He's been a lot. He's learned a lot and been a little bit of a voice of the players.
Yeah, he has. And I think he's helped some of the younger guys, and there's times he's been very, very vocal and in tune. And so being injured is really difficult because as much as you want to feel a part of it, you don't. And you can ask Josh last year when he was fighting his back injury. It's a real difficult position to be in as a player, especially if you've never been injured before. But XJ's handled it well, and he's helped us along the way, and he's certainly going to help us a lot next year.
Now that he's practicing, is that helping him more? I know it's not
It does help us. Yeah, absolutely it does. Practices now are a little bit less lengthy and maybe as intense. And he would have helped us a lot more in December and January than he is in February. But he does help. It's nice to have him out there. He brings an intensity and liveliness and competitiveness to practice, which is always a good thing.
6 years ago, you were hired here, you talked about building a foundation of success, starting at the baseline, four tournaments in 5 years. Have you gotten that point where you feel like...
I big one.
Have you gotten that point where you feel like that foundation is at least starting to get into place, and people look at you and say that's a solid foundation?
Absolutely. I think we can say that after 6 years, and again, postseason play every year, Final Four of the NIT, which I'm as proud of as really any accomplishment we've had. I mean, when you get to the Final Four of the NIT, And, you know, I remember Wichita State was there, and it was a heck of a tournament. Alabama lost to a really good Alabama team in the semis. So the whole key thing in Colorado I talked about 6 years ago was to build a program that can have sustained success. And I don't know where the cutoff point is in terms of sustaining it, but I think we're approaching it, and we want to continue it. And, obviously, last year, everybody was disappointed. Nobody was happy with the results, and this team did something about it, which, again, is a testament to them.
I know you're going to say you're focused on UConn, but potential matchup against Kansas going through your brain at all yet?
No, because we got to, you know, it would be a great opportunity because it means we would have advanced, but we're not going to put the cart in front of the horse. And the one great thing about the NCAA tournament is it's a one-and-done affair, and that's what makes it so unique. Is it's not a best-of-7 series or a best-of-5. It's a winner, you go home, and a lot of things can happen. I'm sure KU's not looking forward to Colorado. They're not looking forward to UConn. They're trying to figure out how to beat Austin Peay, and we're doing the same thing. But if it happens, another great opportunity. You can't ask for anything better than play the number 1 seed.
Did you ever consider that maybe the KU fans would go for you?
Hopefully against UConn. Absolutely. I'm hoping that they still, a few of them still remember me from back in the day and will support the Buffs. But I hope so.
I know you're expecting big things from George King after his redshirt season. Has he exceeded in all of the scoring he's provided, rebounding of late?
Yeah, because you never know. I mean, when you recruit players, you recruit them with the idea of how good they can be, but you never know how it's all going to play out. You know, I expected George to be good, but the fact that he's been as consistent as he has, he's the most improved player in the Pac-12, deserving honor from his peers. He's really shot the ball well. He's made some big shots. I think where would we be if he didn't make that shot against Washington State? I mean, that was a big time shot in our season. And so George has had a terrific year. And this is just another opportunity for him, as well as the rest of our players, to demonstrate what they can do on the biggest stage in college basketball. Because this is the biggest stage, and this is what you work for as a coach when you're recruiting. It's what you work for as a player in the off season and the practices and the regular season. So I'm excited for George and what he can do.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.